road again to steal a line from Willie. I'm driving through eastern Montana still, and Montana's a big state. I think I'm about 70 miles east of Billings on Interstate 94 still. Been on the road probably an hour or more, left Miles City. There, that's a nice little campground, and the people that own that place are extremely nice and accommodating, so props to them. Got some laundry done this morning, did some other stuff, so kind of just chilling out, but wanted to get out of there before it got too dang hot. It's going to be upper 80s here today, and then mid to upper 90s tomorrow, and then triple digits on Monday. So I've decided to bail out on the Custer battlefield thing. It's just going to be too hot here and uncomfortable, and I'm tired of being hot and uncomfortable. So I'm actually headed for Butte, Montana, just west of Butte, in a place called Anaconda. I'm going to be staying at a RV resort there for the next couple of days. The highs are going to be in the 70s with the lows in the upper 40s there, so it's going to be a nice cool down, and I am really looking forward to that. In fact, I'm going to have to break out my fleece jacket and my Sherpa hoodie even, maybe, and not complaining about that at all. That's going to be very refreshing. So that's something to look forward to. But it's a long drive. It's over 300 miles from where I started in Miles City, so I'm not going to get there until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock local time. Today it's going to be a good 5-6 hour drive, and I'm doing 65 mile an hour here. Although the speed limit is 80, it's kind of cool to be able to go that fast out here if you can and want to, but I can't do that pulling this camper. So, and I am bucking a merciless headwind today. Yesterday I picked up a tailwind, a pretty strong tailwind. Wind was blowing out of the east, which is kind of unusual, or at least it is in the Midwest. Maybe up here you get that, but I swear that wind was pushing me along, man. I was getting fantastic gas mileage, even going up some decent inclines. It felt like the wind was pushing me. I didn't, the Highlander did not have to drop down into a lower gear or anything to get me up those hills, so that was really nice. But I'm paying for it today because the wind is out of the west and I'm headed west, and it's just knocking me down. I can just feel it trying to push me backwards, and as far as I know, it'll be this way all day. So I'm not getting very good about gas mileage. I got to catch the exits in the gas stations when I can, because they're kind of few and far between out here, and you don't want to run out of gas out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm actually using an app on my phone. It's called iExit. Really, really slick. It knows where you're at. It knows what direction you're going. It will tell you all the exits coming up and what facilities they have. Whether it's none at all, which you see a lot of out here, or they've got gas, lodging, meals, food service, whatever it might be, and then you can drill down in and see who are the gas stations, who are the restaurants, that kind of stuff. Really, really slick, and it tells you how far away from them you are, and so I'm using that. I've been using it a lot because it's just very convenient, but I'm using it here because you kind of have to. I mean, I know about how far I can get on the gas I have remaining, and I do not want to run out, and so I got to make sure that I'm looking well out ahead at what exits have gasoline and how far they are away from me, and I got to stop. Turn the camera around, let you guys catch some scenery. It's getting kind of pretty here. I'm going through some pine, I don't know what they are, what kind of pine just drove through Billings, Montana. Early afternoon here. It's about 1:15, 1:30. So no problem with traffic. I mean, there's just very little traffic out here. I don't know how big of a town, city Billings is. It's pretty decent for out in this part of the world, I think. No idea. 100,000, 150, 200,000. I don't know. A lot of RV places around here, man. I'm just now driving past about the 6th big RV place in the last 5 miles. Man, must sell a lot of them out here. So anyway, got Billings behind me. Just cruised right on through. I'm on Interstate 90 now. 94 kind of merges in with 90. And I'll take this through, I think, at least the rest of Montana. I don't know, 90 may be what I'm on now until I get to the Seattle area. I don't know if 94 ever picks back up again, but I'm about 225 miles now from my final stop for the day, for a couple of days. I'm just going to rest up, get my batteries recharged, get some things done, hopefully edit some of this video and get it posted. I actually worked on that a little bit last night. Watched a couple of tutorials on that GoPro Studio application and cut some clips out of all of the string of video that I have, and now I just have to assemble that and put some transitions in there, and then in some cases mix the audio that goes along with it, like the shots of just the highway in front of me and stuff like that. Take the audio out. You guys don't want to listen to the car trolling along and go over bumps and stuff, and put some tunes in there or something. So I'm gonna figure that out and get some of that done. So I am now seeing mountains off in the distance. Some of them have snow on them still, so they're pretty high peaks. I'm guessing that's snow. Not sure what else it would be. Unless it's just some kind of reflection of the sunlight, I'm pretty sure it's snow. So, going to be getting into some mountain country here in about an hour, probably. Which is nice, because they look very cool and refreshing to me. So this is the start of the Rocky Mountains as they run through Montana. And when I get a little closer, I'll get some highway shots of that, so y'all can enjoy it too. Billings seemed like a pretty decent little town. Didn't look too bad from the interstate. Anyhow, there are a couple of places, like there's a huge rail yard over here right now. There's a lot of trains roll through here. And then there was a big, I guess it was a refinery of some kind. They were like huge white tanks. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to them, but it was either they were refining some kind of petroleum, or I don't know, they kind of looked like those big anhydrous ammonia tanks that we had back home in all the farmland. It's just gigantic white storage tanks. So, but that was, you always get some industrial stuff like that, particularly around the interstates a lot of times. But the downtown area, from what I could see of it from the highway, looked pretty nice. And the area around here is still just not hardly able to get over how big and open it looks out here. You just don't get these kinds of views back home. There's always something in the way, trees or houses or corn. Corn, a lot of corn when it gets tall enough anyhow. That's about all you see. Wow, even the Walmarts look pretty cool around here. They kind of have a lodge look. Huh. It's different. Talked to my son this morning. You get kind of bored driving along here mile after mile. I don't really listen to music when I'm driving. I don't know why. I just haven't been real fond of listening to music since last fall, so I'm mostly just listening to the wind whistle past the car here. But anyway, you get a little stir crazy after a while, and it was good to talk to my son for a little bit. He's actually in Orlando, Florida with his girlfriend. She's got some family down there they're visiting just for a couple of days. But Mark's gonna drive down and see his grandfather, my dad, who lives in Okeechobee, Florida, so about 100 miles south of Orlando. He's going to drive down there tomorrow and spend some time with him, so that's fantastic. I know Dad will just love that. He doesn't get to see the grandkids very often now that he can't really travel to Illinois. It's the only time he gets to see him is when they go down there, and that's just not that often. They don't have that much vacation time, and it's a long ways away for them. So he'll be thrilled. He'll probably go to the Tiki Hut tomorrow afternoon and watch some good old country music and drink some good old Bud Light. They actually have Corona there. That's the only decent beer they have. But, Corona's not bad. I like it. We're looking for some of that skunky stuff for a change. I am in Anaconda, Montana, just 10 miles or so west of Butte, and really pretty country, man. Got mountains all around me. This is like a big valley, and in fact there's some very high peaks, some 10,000 foot peaks just a little to the west of me here. So the best part of it, though, is that the weather is much cooler It's going to get in the mid 80s today, which is a little warmer than yesterday. It was only in the 70s yesterday. I got here late afternoon, early evening, and last night it actually got down to somewhere below 48 degrees, because it was 48 in the camper last night. I so used to being in hot weather, didn't even think to get my little electric space heater out and throw an extra blanket on the bed. I just went to bed, and I woke up sometime this morning and I was cold. It was chilly out, so I laid there and suffered for a while, and finally I said, man, I got to do something. So I got up middle of the night and rummaged around in one of my storage compartments and got the heater out and got a blanket out and threw on me, and I was comfortable then. But yeah, it got pretty chilly, so it's very, very nice to be in cool weather for a change. I'm very tired of the 90 degree stuff, 100 plus degrees. That's just miserable. And the other good news is that my fridge actually got very cold last night. Of course, you know, when it's in the mid 40s out, that's going to happen, I suppose, but it actually got below freezing. It behaved a little more like normal, I guess. So we'll see how it goes today. I had it on electric yesterday when I got in, and left it on electric last night just to make sure it would get cold, and I switched over to propane this morning, so we'll see how it does. It's a little warmer out now. The sun's beating down on the camper, and it's in the mid 80s, so you know, it's going to have a little harder time keeping up with that, but I just want to make sure that, you know, it'll do the job pretty closely on propane too, because I hope to be able to go out and do some boondocking somewhere around here in the next few days. So I'm at a Good Sam campground right now, and I'm going to be here at least until tomorrow. It was very busy, very crowded when I got in here. Apparently they got some hot springs around, and they must have a lake or a river or something like that. I saw a lot of people with water toys, you know, floats and this, that, and the other things. So maybe they were using those in the hot spring, I don't know. But anyway, all the weekenders are gone now. Most of them pulled out this morning, and it's a little less crowded, a lot less busy right now. The kids are gone, and so it's gonna be a pretty nice afternoon. The I think this is called Fairmont, something like that, RV park, and the sites are very close together. I've got a little bit of space around mine. I've got one of the nicer sites here. I'm right under a tree, so I get a little shade, at least in the morning. And I've got a little bit of room. I got more room now that you know, the people behind me have left and everything. But generally speaking, the sites are pretty cramped around here, and most of them are right out in the sun. That's the bad news. The good news is the showers are very nice and clean. The bathrooms are very nice and clean, and it's a pretty nice location right here with the mountains all around. And you know, like I say, you're only 10 miles or so from Butte. So I've just been relaxing. It's been very nice not to have to drive today, because I've been driving every day since Monday, and on a couple of those days driving really hard, like putting over 300, you know, going over 300 miles, putting in, you know, 6-hour driving days. So I've covered a lot of territory. You know, it won't be long. I'll be in Idaho, and then I'll be in Washington State. So I actually, and I've got 2 weeks before I have to have my camper up to Chilliwack to get it worked on. So basically I'm just going to have some time to do some things out here. I'm going to sit down and look at some of the other camping and public lands that there are around here. I know there's some wilderness I go a little further down the road and get up in the mountains a little more, there'll be a lot of wilderness. There's some BLM land around here, National Forest, and I want to hit some of those. So I may stay here again tomorrow just to get another day of R&R and everything, and then head on up to some other places, get on down the road a little ways. You know, a lot of people have asked me, because I'm right out here. I mean, Yellowstone National Park is probably 100 miles away from where I am now, maybe a little further. I'm going to be going within 150 miles of Glacier National Park. That's going to be a little off the beaten path, and a lot of people have asked me, hey, you going to go see those places while you're out here? And I'd love to, but the problem is, at least for now, is those national parks really are not pet friendly. They don't allow dogs out on any of the trails. They don't allow dogs, from what I've heard, they really only allow dogs around your campsite. And you know, with me traveling alone with the dogs, that doesn't leave me any options really, especially right now. I don't have air conditioning, and it's just too warm to leave them in the camper all day. And even if I had air, you know, I wouldn't be comfortable leaving them for more than 4 hours or so. I don't think they'd bark. Well, Patches wouldn't bark. Hell, she never barks unless she's sleeping. But Bernie enjoys woofing at people, but she's usually quiet in her. So they probably would be good. They wouldn't sit and bark in the camper all day, but I just not really comfortable doing that right now. And then I'd only have, you know, a few hours to go out and see stuff, and I'd have to come back and blah blah blah. So I'm just going to pass on hitting the national parks this time around. You know, I'll make this run again, I hope, and maybe then things will be a little different, and I'll be able to hit some of those national parks and see them. I'd really like to see Glacier, because the glaciers are actually melting, and before too much longer it'll be the Glacier-less National Park. They'll just be gone. So it's kind of a, you know, if I want to see them in my lifetime, I better make that happen in the next couple of years, I think. Alright, man. Sign off for right now. Maybe I'll do some more later. Bye.